Okay, setting up your fuel cell is very easy. You'll need just a couple of things. Some people have these things laying around the garage or the workshop already. Some of them you may have to go to your local auto parts store to purchase. But what you'll need, this is an automotive vacuum hose, 1/4 inch interior diameter. Some people use a heavy-duty clear plastic tubing. I prefer the actual vacuum hose. Whichever you use is up to you. You'll need some automotive wire, 14 gauge in diameter or larger. Again, some people use a smaller wire. I prefer the 14 gauge or larger. It's more heavy duty. You'll also need some distilled water and some baking soda. Of course, you'll take your unit. To hook the wire up to the unit, you can either just wrap the bare wire beneath the wing nut and tighten it down, or you can do it the better way and install a spade terminal, 1/4 inch, onto the end of the wire so that it will fit on there much more securely. Again, however you do it is up to you. And that's it for now. We'll go to the car and we'll see one actually installed. Okay, this is an actual working unit. I've got it on a 1991 Ford Crown Victoria. The unit that you have is slightly different. It doesn't have the extra outlet. This was a prototype that I experimented with. The extra outlet part didn't work too well, so I just capped it off. Just ignore that. You don't have that. The first thing you would want to do, of course this one is already hooked up, would be unscrew the cap, fill the unit about 3/4 of the way full with distilled water only. You're going to put in 1 to at the most 1.5 level tablespoons of baking soda. Of course, put the cap back on there, swivel it around a little bit, get it all mixed up, and that part will be ready. The ground wire, there are several places in any engine compartment where you can hook up a ground wire. This one just happened to be convenient right here next to my windshield washer fluid reservoir. It was an existing ground wire. I just pulled out the bolt and put my ground wire right in there with the other one. Now the hot wire I have ran up here to the windshield wiper motor. I found a hot wire on the wiper motor that's hot only when the ignition key is turned on. That's very, very important. That wire should only be hot when the key is turned on. Otherwise, the unit will just be sitting there making that hydrogen gas all the time, and that's not a good thing. I simply just spliced into the wire. I cut it, spliced the wire into it, kind of the redneck way of doing it. There's a lot better ways of splicing into a wire, but those wires are so tight in there, that seemed like the best way to do it. Now the vacuum hose, of course, goes onto the bar that's coming out at the top. I put it about halfway up to the engine. I have a universal T, vacuum T right here. One end of the T is going right here to just before the throttle body. All I did, quite simply, was drill a small hole inside that rubber hose, stick a barb in there, hook my hose up, and it was ready. The other end of the hose I tied into a vacuum line right there beneath the air plenum that's going directly into the intake. Now it's drawing the vacuum into the intake. That's very important that you hook it up like that. Then I just quite simply took the unit, placed it down here next to the washer fluid reservoir, took my handy dandy bungee cord, strapped around there, and it's in there and ready to go. And that's it for the installation. Very simple, very easy. Depending on your car, you may have to do a little bit less or even a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to turn the ignition key on, and you'll be able to see the unit in action. And there you go. You can see the bubbles that the hydrogen gas is being produced, and that's what creates the magic. So now when I start the car, that gas is drawn into the engine. And there you have it.